geluba naqdogliyo nugal waa ku darara melay nabadi joogta.
Welcome to ISIRKA. My name's Ahmed and join me as I take you on a journey to explore identity, culture, and belonging. Take a seat as I take you through time, space, and various perspectives of cultural identity. Stay tuned to see where the journey will take us today. So for those who don't know you, tell everybody who you are, where's your what's your name, where you from, what are you about? Tahai.
Yes. So my name is Ahmed Muhammad, and that's my grandfather's name. I mean, we've been here in the States for about 10 years. Came here end of 2011, but before then I grew up in a small town called Khabrbah. A lot of people know that name. And one of the reasons apparently is I went to Minnesota a couple times. And my first time there, when people ask me where I was from, I would say Khabrbah, and they'd be like, Allah, what are you? That is the notion around the Somali people that are from Khabrbah, is that apparently you'll just be drinking your cup of whatever mocha latte, whatever you mix together at a Starbucks, and you just see a car just running to you, you know what I mean? And then like the houses and places are destroyed. But I'm from Khabrbah, and I run a social media account called Shaah of the Day. And a lot of people ask me how I got the name. I used to send Snapchat videos to some of my friends, and I'll be like, what the tea today is, go put your money, king, or I'll send it to a friend, female friend. I'll be like, so that's the tea of the day. So whatever, and so one of my friends at the time told me, why don't you create those videos, just post it on your account? And so it was tea of the day first in Grisbe, tea of the day, Shaah Manta. So I went from tea of the day to Shaah Manta because, to be honest with you, I think in Somali language I'm more funnier than I am in English. In English I just sound like another Adan sound wannabe type of guy. Shaah of the day and Katnigat, because instead of Shaah Manta or tea of the day, I said I want to mix a little bit of both. That's who I am. I'm actually representative of both generations. On one end, you can consider me as Fab, fresh off the boat. Like 2012, I mean 2011, before 2012. New York one had to Portland, but that's the one part, and that part of me still holds on to that Somali identity, and I crave that because I would love my future kids to experience what I've experienced as a Somali person. And so that is the FOP side of me, and then there's the other side of me, the side that's speaking some good English, you feel me, and accepting that American society and experience, because that's at the end of the day what shaped me and where I'm at today. I couldn't have been without that experience. So Shaah of the Day. Soomaaliga ku bilowbo oo halkan kusoo dhashay oo kusoo koray oo kusoo dhaqmay kuma dhaqmin waliye, laakiin halkan kusoo adigu nafteeda kusoo bartay. Then you get the letter T, you know what I mean? I'm at the day, so Shaah of the Day. So I personally consider myself as a mediator. I could understand a lot of the struggles that the youth are experiencing, but also I've had enough time back home, reaching until age of 13 to actually fully formulate my identity as a Somali individual. So I could see if you and your parents were to have an argument and I'm sitting there, I could become a mediator in a way that could actually find some sort of solution where you're like, all right, I know where you come from, I know where you come from. Let's come at this way. And that's one of the other things that I'd love to achieve in the future is there's also that struggle of, men and women. I would love to be just kind of the middle ground a little bit, and try to find some sort of intellectual conversations where we discuss real, concerns that we have as a society moving forward and ways to preserve our Dakan, Deen, and, our identity as Somali. So I don't know. I don't even know how to describe myself, but wallahi, to be honest with you, there is a guy, Kainan, I think Somali. He has an album called Dusty Philosopher. Dusty Philosopher. Yeah. That album, really, I would love to be considered that, man. You know what I mean? In a way, I have this identity of I want to gain knowledge. I want to listen to you. I want to hear what you're going through, what makes you you, right? And I want to think outside of the box, right? And the way he explains the Dusty Foot philosopher is a person who's very humble, but also can get to the moon, very humble and poor in terms of materialistic stuff, but can get to the moon through his mind, as in thinking outside of the box. So I would love to be that too. That is something I desire to be. That's not what I am. I desire to be that.
So you talked a lot about like kind of what the Somali experience gave you, but then what did the American side? What did America afford you or give you?
No, what's crazy is that Somali had that, and we pick and choose. We pick and choose on things like wadankaaleed baan joognaa Allah wayna baabiyeen cunsuriyad bana lagu hayaa. You know, like you will see so many Somali people complaining about the system here, right? Yeah. And they have every right, because that is the experience that each individual has. Now, the experience I have may be different than yours as a Somali woman, you know, trying to navigate through like this society. However, the American society has not been nice to us, maybe, right? Or each individual. But the Somali society hasn't been nice to us either.
I mean, you want to speak on that? Go ahead.
we are Ghonti in another country. We are a second-class citizens by not necessarily, I wouldn't say choice that came from the people rather than, you know, your individualistic choice. Yeah. As a tribe, as a qabil, as Somali, but Somali, and qabil, I mean Somali Nimo. We chose that, you know, that is actions that we have taken, and consequences of it is us being treated wrong in another country, right? So Somali people pick and choose that we do that. We are very selective in the ways we attack concerns and things that are problematic in our lives, right? The American society is being good to me, to be honest with you. Alhamdulillah. I personally have just been a dreamer. And so I found the sport of running. A lot of people will be like, well, faster, you feel me? So I actually started running about a year and a half after I came to the States. I remember the way I found it was I was in the PE class, and I was running in jean shorts, okay? Because I know nothing about sport like that. You know, back home, and we made, you know, we would take the socks and we fill it with like, you know, bed or mattress stuff and material, put it there and roll it up to make a ball. Oh, wow. Because we were so broke, you feel me? And that's life, but we were happy. You know what I mean? Now, there is a coordinated sports system that actually gets you in to get a full ride scholarship at a university simply because you're talented enough to run fast. And that was my experience, right? So I went through high school, I ran, and the sport of running had taught me a lot of lessons. One of those being, you know, consistency. I also learned the skill of patience, waiting for what you want, and then working hard. I would wake up, you know, 5:30 right after the Fajr. I would go out, run 5-10 miles, between that 15 miles some days, and that has been my life since basically for the last 9 years, right? Of just running. And so I was fortunate enough to get a full ride scholarship to run at a Division I school. Ran there at Boise State University, transferred to Florida State University, where I got my master's while running for the school. I broke 2 school records here. I also represented Somalia in 2019 in Italy. I was there for 2 weeks, stayed on a cruise ship. It was a great experience, right? But that was my first time where I felt like Somalia. Wallahi, like, you know, you will see all this and Adair is posting on Facebook. How can I that is called Igusawir. It was great experience to help them. Waxas ma jirto. Wallahi Somali badanaa dadkeena Soomaaliyeed wax inoo maqan ma jirto, in my opinion. But at least I hope you know, our generation can change that a little bit. But my experience there was really great. Like I said, I represented Somalia. I was the flag bearer, so it was really, I flew the blue
waving flag, like bring Canaan back into the conversation.
I will be strong. They call me freedom, just like a waving flag. That 20, I think it was like 79,000 people.
Wow.
Watching me. Somalia, that was probably the one of the most fun 1 minute of my life. That was, you know, when they say 15 seconds of fame, that
Yeah.
was my 1 minute of fame in life. I'm so proud to like represent dadkeena. Anigana ogow calan haddii laga hadlayo siyaasad ma rabo inaan sii galgalo.
Yeah.
Haddii laga hadlayo, to be honest with you, calanka buluuga, that's the only one I can find that, you know, is 100% Somali. So that's the only reason I fly. Aniga dhanka Egyptian ka imido today. In the region I live, waxaa la dhahaa Ethiopia maamulata. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to get too political, like I said.
No, but it's okay. You can get into it. I think there's something about the blue flag and also the imagination of like Somali school, the Duban, and like it meant something that still I think is pervasive in history, regardless of what it means right now.
Yes.
What the current political reality is. And I think that's something that still...
Absolutely.
So you keep your blue flag with you everywhere, though.
Everywhere. I'll tell you this story. So I actually had a friend, but my best friend to this day, Sahib, I would give him a shout out like
Yeah, he'll know who he is though.
So one of my best friends, actually, he's a guy. Here's one thing that I would hope we can work on as a society, right? Is that if we see somebody flying a Somaliland flag or Ogaden flag or Puntland flag, whatever, like, you know, region, state, country, whatever you consider, wallahi, wallahi, to be honest with you, at the end of the day, wallahi, you can't find one Somali person. I have never met here in this city, I have never met a single Somali person that is not coming here to visit me.
Yeah.
Like, family, and why? Because wadan shisheeyaan jooga. Soo maahan. Haddii aan arki lahaa maalin baan waxaa arkay nin Amxaara ayaan arkay oo yacni foreheadkan ka gartay inuu East African yahay. Waxaan ku dhahay war yaa maan dhahay wogta qoos dhahay no salaam igu dhahay. Farxadda ay haysay ku kaan intaan waryaa ku odhan farxadda ay waxaa taa Soomaali baad aragtay, right? So I hope we can work on this idea of not necessarily just tolerance. I think there is a difference between, you know, having tolerance towards somebody. I have tolerance in to just at least accept us to breathe. Like, the Somali then is not a lot. Tolerance man acceptance about low bang. Hey, come here. What car in your green can? Speaking of that, with us, or Somaliland. The reason I say Somaliland is because Alan Kasugiti. We're very close friends. To this day, we're very connected. He came to visit me in my house. I think my room. I have a blue flag. Well, like true story. Blue flag. In the night, mention ugly. وحنا صاحب وكا مقصن كاجا سيحق عوا إن شاء الله وينو بري ورغد الديارة. You know, hospitality Somali the no. صاحبك البابك حدي البابك بفرع ويجي عليه ولا حد كامل هيا الحين وانت كلها ور صاحب عمل كاسو جدار كاسو المسيح حنكر عاو والله this is in America yeah and that is not only I'm not saying Somaliland بشكل كذا كتير مع ده I've seen a lot of ضد بدون عالم كبلوجا أو ضد Somaliland هذين مقلان أما أركان كتشيركو كمارتي ديدا That is the problem we have is can you actually create an intellectual conversation or school or no Ahmed adug margisa ka timid ha hey dushan ka imidaya bal kale aan fariisano wada sheekaysan you know talk about it how do you feel what is going through your mind can we ever reunite can we ever come back together can all Somali people can they all be united in one place. Now the flag becomes a symbol of some genocide for certain people, right? And that is something that I could never take away. I've never experienced that, and it's very misfortunate that Somali استقالة أنا يستاهل سكوب قلنا أو إن عرورتي أو يشود استقالة يجنس نعبيهين.
Yeah.
What I mean? So my friend I was talking about, my best friend now coming back to that story. I don't want to chat. Is he told me. Ahmed, we were talking about the politics of Somali society. And he said, Ahmed, there will be one day where, wallahi, like word for word, he said, they will kick it out of you. They will kick Somali Nimo out of you fast. because by that he meant basically at one point I'm gonna give up. I'm gonna give up. Soomaali midowday oo iska heshiisay oo nabad qabta. He said you're gonna give up, and to be honest with you, time hasn't been on my side lately.
Yeah.
Has not been on my side, but wallahi, now what I'm realizing is I do my part. Amina, you do your part, and I hope things can be better for our future generation, inshallah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think that's at the end of the day, if you can't change other people, you can just kind of control your space and how you engage and what kind of message you put out there. And it seems like with your with like Shaah of the Day and stuff like that, a lot of what you've been talking about this whole time is just having spaces for people to come together and kind of imagine things a little bit differently, or at least start conversation, because conversation will then allow for some understanding to happen. So
Absolutely.
what do you think, and you talk about Somali gender wars a lot, which I think is like with this hyper social media age where nobody wants to, I mean, everybody's fronting, right? Like in some ways, everyone's kind of putting on a persona. And then the first video of yours that I saw from Shaah of the Day, you were walking across down, like in Portland, like in your Maoist, and you're just like, I don't give a shit. Like, and I was just dying because like you had that like old school Somali spirit of them, you know, like I think I school kalson, and it has filan. But a lot of people don't even have kalsoni there, like their self-confidence to even present publicly how they feel. That's why when you get into the gender wars or the political wars, everyone's like, well, I'm on this side. So what do you think it'll take to kind of bring people together to start having conversations?
A lot. A lot. Here's the thing, right? Wallahi, it could be very draining to just listen to dad isdagaalaya, qabiil isku dagaala ahaataya, rag iyo dumar isku kala baxbaxay ahaataya, you know. At the end of the day, you know, there's this intersecting factors as to why certain people are behaving the way they do, right? And let's start with the very, very basic understanding of the world. Our worldview is shaped by our environment.
Yeah.
If you take a Somali kid from his adeero oo cugdada u qabay daa'ada qola over there maaragtay awowgiisii shanaad xabada ku dhuftay maaragtay awowgaasna sababta ay ku kaliftay in ayayda kala isdagaale, like all the past maaragtay conflicts that contributed to the hatred that we all have for each other. I'm going to talk about the qabil part and the, you know, the Somali like society part, and then we'll get to the more fun for me, to be honest with you. You know, is that it's going to take a lot for actually people to understand that different people have different views. In the Somali society alone, some of my ideas when I share, you have their ideas. As a matter of fact, if I give my thought in a discussion where there is a lot of older men, they see it as ilma yaro maskaxdiisa laga soo bedelay oonan maaragtay dhaqankiisa iyo diintiisa maaragtay aad wixii dhanba u haynin, you know. And to be honest with you, that is kind of sad, right? The sad reality is that I cannot change what has been created in the minds of a 50, 40, 60-year-old Somali men who have spent half of their life talking about here's a solution I have for the qabil part, okay? The solution I have is that there is something called globalization, which is basically this, you know, you understand it, but basically the interconnectedness of this world, where the ideas that are happening, the things that are being practiced in South Africa can be seen and witnessed in India. Or we've seen all the Bollywood movies, those things impact the way we perceive information, in which eventually the pre-existing cultural norms are most likely going to be replaced by new ideas, new trends. And that is the same thing that's happening with technology now. Wallahi, I can make one WhatsApp call and I talk to my grandmother or schedule to baadiyeedii oo soo roganaysa adhigeedii you know so and I tell her what happened waxaan leeyahay nin bidaar weyn oo waalan baa naloo doortay madaxweynena looga dhigan leeyahay she was like ma kiba ma Trump ba area bay leedahay right at the end of the day it's going to come down to those intersecting realities and the information that is free flowing through all these different regions, which again will change culture, including the Somali culture, which a lot of times a lot of men waxay sameynayaan waxa ku dhahay waan guursanayo toban guursanayo toban boqolaal xaraan dhalayo waxay rabaan inay dhaxal ka tagaan dhaxalka aad ka tagayso who says that your kids will decide to only have 2 kids like who says that they will not like say you know what it's too much work this is not the life I want to live you know I don't want to live like my father did each generation is getting smaller and smaller by the number in terms of reproduction, right? Yeah. That is because it's becoming more trend. It's becoming harder to maintain family relations, to build a very healthy and well-functioning emotionally and physically and mentally and spiritually family. In order to accomplish those things, it's going to require less numbers. So I don't know, it's going to disappear, I promise you. So the Qabil part, so the best way you can leave legacy is having an impact on somebody else's life. And that somebody could literally be your children or I'm just attacking the man right now, like eventually don't ay carrayaan oo xafwada wadankii ka raadsanayaan wadan gaaleed oo dhaqankii iyo diintii iyo wixii dhan lahayn oo loogu talagalay iyaga inay role model u noqdaan oo ay tusaan nolosha sidii loo navigate gareyn lahaa ay ka carrayaan responsibility ka carrayaan wadankiiba ku noqonayaan and they go marry gabadh yar oo maartay ay dhali karaan xitaa right that is an issue and the issue is that responsibility ay koobaad adan kasoo bixin xaas la hortayada raadinin and so that you know that is the part of the Qabiliyo tarankola badinayi iyo all these other issues. Now coming back to the dagaalka rag iyo dumarka Soomaaliyeed u dhaxeeya it's become a trend gabadh yar waxaad arkaysaa 16 17 years jirto dhahaysa f niggas iyo you know niggas iyo things right and you look at her and you say what Qabil you are 16 like you are 16 markaan anaga 16 ahayn imika fiiri back in my day on so but like there's a lot of people who are concerned about the wrong things and so eventually we're looking at today a society that lacks emotional intelligence, that lacks expression, that lacks the ability to actually portray a message to another person, trying to all deal with each other. Maarta gabadh markay xaafadooda joogtay reerkooda markay ooyeysa ama ay dhib jiro reerkooda ay ku orayaan aniga ha ooyin naag weyn baa tahasho alab weeyaan gabdho ma ooyaan wiil lagu leeyahay wariyaan nin rag iska dhigo waa maxay don't show emotions oo la wada damiye iyagoo yanyan waan ku jeclahay ka daran isla moogtaa in the first 2 months and then after that the reality is going to hit which is like how are we going to interact how do we show the care we have for each other you know so lately I've been talking to a lot of family and friends and there has been a lot of rise on the divorce right where you talk to the man and I way sheegana ragga moogtahay because I'm a fellow man whereas dumarkooda u sheeganaya which is also another issue in my opinion is waxay sheegaan most of the time is that the men don't feel appreciated they don't feel you know they don't see gratitude from their significant other ninka ragga ahi wuxuu u baahan yahay to feel like they're relevant they're important to you you know they inkastoo that you can function that you can be independent women you still kind of have to make the men feel like they need you you know what I mean like that you need them I mean that you need them and that you appreciate the things that they're doing for you right and that kind of goes the other way around too but there is that lack of expression to show gratitude men feel irrelevant they feel like women have feel like they have zero obligation to express any gratitude because ninkaas ku jilcin baa lagu leeyahay nahed isku filowo naagno iska dhigo dhexda xidha la leeyahay, right? So there is that, and then ninka raggina wuxuu rabaa inuu maamul meesha, it feels like, he's the man, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Labadaasaa jira. On the top of that, waxaa jirta issues within this in today's society. No matter what culture you are, technology is playing a role in the way we perceive world. It's playing a role in the way we interact with other people. Dad waxaa jira computer ka saa u type garaynayo oo soo caayayo maxay sameynayaan, but if you see them in real life, madaxa saa dhahayaan oo is qaranayaan, right? Because we call them, what is it, keyboard warriors?
Yeah, Twitter fingers,
keyboard warriors, because they lack the actual confidence in real life. So there's a lot of intersecting issues that is contributing to now also more likely people are able to interact with the opposite gender easily, which could create confusion and cheating and feeling abandonment. Wallahi, there is a lot of intersecting issues that create the division between men and women. And then what happens is that markii hore berigii hore waxay ahayd islaamaha hooyooyinka Soomaaliyeed oo maartay guur ka soo dhacay, that got divorced or for whatever reason, that eventually created that platform of like high school children raga ka arara hoy naagno sadig naanin high school children, right? That was the women ayaa sheekada u sheegay dumarka gabdhihiina oo yeeyeen maskaxdoodii and fully formed ahayn ay cabsi lagu beeray. They create defensive mode, right? Now you have men doing it. Markii dumarkan kaliya ahayd sheekadu, imika man baa ku joogo kale wariya lacagtaada cunto lagu soo cunaya, maxabaasa lagu soo sameynaya, waxa dhahay daanyeer ha noqon daanyeer, right? So when you get men like him, society is labadii dhanba la iska soo wadaa. Markii hore it was just offensive. It was just offensive. maxaan offense baan ka wadaa ingiriiska waa like offense ay dumarka ka soo socota. Imika raggiiba offense iyaguna wada.
But you saw he got jumped when he was in Kenya though, right?
I know, I saw that. Wallahi waa manu heal habano miskin.
Yeah, right. No, he deserved. At that point, it was kind of like we will let the women say whatever they want, but we won't accept that. We won't accept that.
Exactly. But wallahi, it is a big issue, and I hope that the future generation can change the emotional intelligence. I think that's the most important part. I think that plays a role in both the qabyalad part and in the dagaalka u dhaxeeya rag iyo dumarkaba. If you're emotionally intelligent, or at least working towards that, to improve the way you interact with other people, the way you perceive information, that is not only existing ideas that you've already created in your mind. dhibaatada dhan baaba kuu xalalmaysaba, haddaad qof hoos dagaalaya nin iyo naag isfahmi lahayd intay gacmaha intay soo qabtaan kaala qalbiyo ay soo fadhiistaan maaragtay fadhiga maxaa qaldan ii sheeg, ay isdhegeystaan iyagoon lahayn war adigu maa saa samey war anaa kaa daran adigu maxaa kabaha la isku tuuray bumbum like walahi dagaal dhac jirayo.
So you're saying basically emotional intelligence will be the thing that will save us all as a people.
Absolutely. If abiyaashan waxayna siiyaan inaguna carruurta waxaan ka siinaa 50-50. So waxay dhahaan maxay odhan jireen science-ka waxay odhan jireen matterka marka decreasing odhan jireen garan maayo mobile iloobe marka basically it's going to come down to I think it's going to, in the next 40-50 years, tirada way yaraanaysaa. Emotional intelligence is going to be key. That is where you implement it. That is where you teach your kids how to actually emotionally express themselves or then suppress them without suppressing. That, you teach your kids for you and and if you could do that and you could create that relationship, they could do that with their kids, they could do that with their significant other, they could do that with the other qabilas, and calankii noocu doono how ay kaadaan, and they will still accept because they can at least understand the perspective of somebody else given the skill that they've gained over time.
Yeah. I mean, that's something that sounds so regular, but it's kind of crazy how much it's created like such divisions that like permeated our society. If I'm raising one flag, why does that make you mad? Did I say that you can't raise your flag?
No, but that's the thing though, is I think I've actually I think so far my experience has been, yes, a lot of my Somalilander friends cannot stand the blue flag, but I've also seen so they can't stand simply because of their reasoning, right?
Mm-hmm.
Whereas, and their reasoning, a lot of times it's like genocide, they have some sort of actual reason, right? Whereas I had an experience with my best friend who's from Somaliland, had a Alan or calanka Somaliland hawaarto Somaliland waar waxtaas kala aad u garanmaya sama kuwar Somaliland baa ugu qoray hoosta, you know. And he was about to get interviewed by a guy who's from Mogadishu, who's also a friend of mine. You know what the guy did? He told him to take the shirt off. And why? Because it said Samakuar Somaliland. And I told him, brother, you are the one interviewing him. You either do that or you leave this man alone.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, waxa weeye horta adiga xaq muu istaagi kartaa weeye. Xaquna ma ahan inuu markasta noqdo. Aniga Ahmed ahaan waxaan aaminsanay calanka buluuga. That's the one I have. But that doesn't necessarily mean if I see ruux calanka Somaliland wata ama calan kale oo Soomaaliyeed midku doona ma noqdo is automatically my enemy. I don't see it like that. I see this one, calankan buluuga, I see it as a symbol of Somali. Nimo because that's the one Somali flag, I think in my opinion, the one flag that represents 100% Somali people. The one flag that today, I were to run for one country, there is only one country in this world where I will be welcomed as a Somali. You know, again, that is what I saw it as, right? But that doesn't necessarily mean that I don't like. I really want to visit Somaliland. I want to visit every Somali region.
Yeah, me too.
You know, like just really live, because at the end of the day, I think that Somali, and so I can wear all flags. Well, I thought about wearing all Somali flags on my hand simply so that people know what I stand for. I stand for Somali Nimo, ethnicity not wadan Somaliland that sheegan iyo wadan Djibouti that sheegan iyo wadan Jigjiga that sheegan iyo ku hadaa sheegan dawlad ku rooyahay Puntland, Somaliland mid kadib inta noqoto.
Okay, so this season of ISIRKA is called Hayan. And then what does Hayan mean to you?
Hayan.
As a Somali linguist, like lover, practitioner.
You put me on the spot. Hayan is something forever lasting, right? Something that you hold on to. Is that how I could be wrong again, like I said.
Yeah, to me, Hayan is a long journey. That's the when I asked my mom, she was saying, like, you know, like if there's one journey that's a gu or something, I don't know. One journey, a gu is a little short journey, but Hayan is safar aad u dheer oo adag. So talaba badan bad, you know, like so maraysa and stuff like that. So
so I think that is my understanding of it was for like something very like long lasting, right? Which again, it could also be that journey that my understanding, my way of seeing it would be right? Whether we are taking journey to America, hello, my name Ahmed, we're back home and pretending like we're like full-on politicians. Manufacturing companies, you know, labor work, whatever journey it is that you're taking, or you go back home and get married to, you know, or you know, you are back home to go see your family as a government, like whatever journey it is that we're taking. But the biggest one we have right now, to be honest with you, which could relate to the halka eventually too, really, that I think I love that, by the way. I think I love that, just like the term itself, because that is could be seen as a legacy, it could be seen as lineage, like all these things that, you know, kind of create future, right? But so we're on that journey of trying to find stability and peace. No matter where you are, I'll tell you something. So no matter what country they create, I'm not going to stay tuned, coming soon, and is anybody can create a country, but wallahi, Somali heshiinaysa no matter what qabil or country you are, like mashallah wallahi ilaha ugu wada Djibouti ilaha ugu wada Somaliland ilaha ugu wada inta barakaysan Soomaaliya dhexdeeda iyo Jigjiga iyo agaarka meel u dhow laakiin Soomaali ma heshiiso. And I think I remember talking about this in class that we had together. There is 4 different ways in which Somali people fight, right? And firstly, they fight. Iyagoo isla socday dagaalamaan. Moogtaa Soomaaliya dhul isku jirta waxay oranayaan like 1994 ay dhacday. Maxaan ku dhahay Black Hawk Down markaad eegtid oo kale. They fight. It's like me and my country against the rest of the world. Ana wadankayga u hiilanayo oo maaragtay qobkayga wataan leeyahay gaalada iyo yuhuudda iga saara cadaanka maxaarka wax doonto ma noqoto. So iyaga isku wada jira Soomaaliya. That's the very top level. Second level becomes adigii qabiilkii ayaa waxaad la dagaalamaysaa wadankii. And that was Civil War 1991 ka soo maahan markay maaragtay SNM loo baxay ee Somali patriotic maxay loo baxay SWM waxay magacyada loola wada baxay qabiil iyo waxa isku jiray qabiilada isku wada baxay iyagoo isku heelanaya soo maahan. And then the third level is going to be the one oo aniga iyo walaalkay baa qabiilka la dagaalamayna. So that is the one, you know, it's you and your brother together fighting the rest of the qabil. And then the last one is me versus my brother. Ana waxaan aqaanaa qalbi meelahan ka imid meel u dhow oo laba walaalo isdileen. Maxay isku dileen? Dhul bay isku dileen. Waa walaalo isku hooyo isku aabba ah. Dhul ayay isku dileen. Dhulkaas dhaxal kiifiira ama linkin ama tayo ama academic. Listen. Dhulkaas dhaxal yuu u noqonayaa not the plan or walaalkiisa dilay, because when he did that, maybe 20 years later, he's dead. You know what I mean? I'm not sure, but I'm saying in general, he was in his 40s, 50s, you know, at the time. Walaalkiiba nafta kaga qaaday dhulkaas siduu u haysto carruurtiisa uu dhalay buu siinayaa. Walaalkiis naftiis buu ka qaaday oo uu dilay dhul awgeeda, like just for the sake of that land, and he's going to be under that land. Dhaxalkiisa muxuu noqonayaa dhulka hoostiisa inuu galo. Right? Carruur buu kaga tagay dhulkaasna laga yaabaa inay kuwa kale isku sii dagaalaan, kuwa uu dhalay isaga inay isku sii dagaalaana dhici karto. Those are things he can't control. Dhaxal muxuu uga tagay? Walaalkii naftiisu qaaday, ilmihiisii dhul uga tagay, kuwaas oo laga yaabaa inay isku dagaalaan dhulka markuu isagu dhinto, and then kuwaas kuwa kasii dambeeya isku sii dagaalaan. It just goes on and on and on, and it's a forever cycle, right? So that's the journey we're in. I think is a journey of fight, a journey of struggle, a journey of qabiil loo kala bixiyo qolo isku dagaal iyo siyaasad laba party la isku dagaal iyo waxay noqotaba at the end of the day Somali heshiinayn. That's the journey we're on, is bila heshiis.
But what about you personally? Then what journey are you on?
Bismillah, you're making it personal for me. The journey I'm on, wallahi, has been a roller coaster, to be honest with you. I think it's very hard for a lot of people to express that in today's society, where social media, everybody's putting up front, like you were saying earlier, like showing things that is not really them, just to, you know, impress others, right?
Yeah.
I think if you go on my social media, wallahi, I try to be as authentic as I can, but even then, wallahi, to be honest with you, there are things that I feel like I could improve on, that I can work on. But my journey is one with a lot of question marks, one with a lot of struggles, struggles of identity, struggles of personal growth, struggles of personal goals, right? On naftedi, because there is this pressure coming from social media, society, myself even, you know, where we're just told meaning you could really do anything, right? But that is taken quite literally in the society. That is because everybody is showing their best days. Nobody is having a bad day on social media. That is very rare. And if you're having a bad day on social media, you post about it, you are seen as a crazy person. You are seen as toxic. That is negativity. We don't need that. Not welcome here. Look at that. Like, in reality, social media is suppressing reality itself. To the point where waxaan tusaynaa waa weji aanan keenniba ahaynba. Dee imikaani maanta isku hor fadhiyo laga yaabaa inaan lightninka ugu fiicanta soo raadiyo maaragtay meesha waxaa ku jirta daaqad wuxuu leeyahay halkaa maaragtay cadceedu markay gelinka dambe tahay golden hour baa
golden hour
soo hordhigayaayo sawirka dhac ku siinaya anuu saa u fadhiyo oo iska dhigaya taajirka adduunka nin maaragtay lagu kala kacsan yahay. But laga yaabaa wallahi I watched maxaan ku dhahaa video on TED Talk saying basically how some lady was talking about how she took pictures at the beach. And right after she took the pictures, she went to the bathroom, started crying because a lot of stuff were happening in her life. So mad. So I am hoping to be on a journey. Hayan there or leh and like happiness, right? I think that's something that we all chase, but happiness with, humility, humbleness, and horumar dadkayga naftayda. That could be very subjective. I could literally be looking at naftada haddaad horumarisid wiil oo waxaa jira saaxiibanahay oo Maxamed Ahmed la dhahayo Olympic silver medalist kaalinta labaad u galay in 2020 and he told me you can only help somebody when you help yourself. I was telling him how I wanted to help my family, do this, do that, do that. He's like, Ahmed, slow down. The only way you can help your family is if you help yourself. And so I'm hoping to keep helping myself to elevate my goals and to keep chasing them. And to be honest with you, it hasn't been easy. I graduated with a master's in international affairs, but I've been offered some, professional running contracts, which kind of all fell through. Work out, and they didn't believe in me. They didn't believe in my ability. That was literally their way of saying, yeah, you are not good enough yet, right? And the key word is yet, because that is how I took it, is I could get there. And I've been having a great success so far. Wallahi, to be honest with you, I haven't been with my family for more than a month in the last, last 6 years. That main reason being I've been chasing dreams and goals and trying to accomplish those things and trying to focus. But wallahi, it could be a lonely journey, because basically what you're doing is my lifestyle, like on a daily basis, if I wake up in the morning and I am out running, right after Fajr, I go out running, I come back, I shower, and I go to work. And then I'm working pretty much the whole day. And then I come back home. I sometimes will go for my second run because I have to run twice some days. And then I eat some food, and I am ready to go to bed. And then I do the same thing over and over and over and over again. That consistency and that taught me a lot of lessons, but it also hasn't been an easy journey, right? So that journey I've already taken. I hope I don't have to take as much of a hard one as that. But wallahi, it has been a lot of growth, right? So I'm hoping for more growth in the near future. That I could somehow have an impact on our society, that I could have an impact on our people. And I think one of the mottos I live with life is meaning when you could really leave a legacy, don't be the dead that is forgotten. You could leave a legacy, don't die and be forgotten. And I personally think there's a lot of ways that the Halut Rebi could tell. The one I don't believe in is Arur Badan. To be honest with you, I think it's better to have Sadeh Arur Hod, Kodi Din Tudi, Wahayihim Bartay, and you guided them in life and gave them mentorship. Then Taman Arur Kan Wallahi, I had a relative who used to forget his grandkids, his grandchildren, because what I think yeah. I hope I can leave a legacy that I can be remembered as the person who somehow had an impact on a younger man or woman to change their lifestyle, to change the way they view the world, to change the way they see everything, including qabil ka, dhaqan ka, diinta, dadka say wala dhaqmayaan, all those. I hope I can have that impact, which is what I'm doing right now as a coach. I coach at a Division 1 level at Florida State University, and I'm helping a lot of Addan kids, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
I hope you hear this, but I'm helping a lot of Addan kids, and I try to, I have one athlete who's not Addan or half African, half island.
Where? Ireland?
No, the islands, one of the islands. Bahamas, Zimbabwe.
Oh wow.
Well, that's it's got and I've been trying to really be ruhan midowga position power an awood an leeyahay ku caawinayo but cunuga aniga isaga waan isfahmi weyne reason being wuxuu la garanayaa accountability that wasn't taught at a young age that our society that madow haddaan nahay we lack that, you know.
Yeah.
So I hope I could create an environment like that in the future, inshallah ta'ala. I'm currently going to be starting working with a non-profit organization back in Portland, hoping that I could have an impact in that way too, inshallah ta'ala.
Yeah, inshallah. Okay, so dhaxalkaaga waad ka hadashay soo maaha?
dhaxalkayga ha adoorta dhaxalkayga ma ii sheegtid dee ma caawa aniga baan wareysanayaa mise
That's a I don't even know, to be honest. But I think yeah, I never thought about actually what my legacy would be, but I think a lot of it is just kind of basically that, you know, I think just leading by example, that, you know, there's really no limits. You create the only limits on your life. And which is ironic because I give myself a lot of limits, but I think ISIRKA is a part of the halka that at least like, but that very much is just adding on to Maga Somalia, you know, like, and Tariq and stuff like that. So the halka outside of that, I really would have to think about it. But I think I would definitely kind of want it to be about impact, motivation, that there's like, even all my little cousins, I'm always like, you guys could go out and do things, and they're like, no, they just stay in the house. And I'm like, what is this tight world? Like, there's no rules in that way, as long as you're not doing anything crazy. But I think we really kind of could approach life and each other with a lot more curiosity, empathy, and motivation. So
absolutely. How about this? How about we both leave one dahal together? How about we write a book together, right? And we leave it for the future generation to hopefully change their life. The crazy thing is, in today's society with all the technology, if you write a book, wallahi, I don't be reading like that no more.
I don't either.
You know, and so I hope we can find a way. I would love to write a book about Somali society together, and that would be, I think personally, I believe one of the biggest dahal you can leave in today's society. wax qoraal ah oo magacaaga ku qoran yahay, fikirkaagana ku qoran yahay. Ilaahay ku naxariistay koreen carruurtuna markaad maartay iska dhigtay. Awowgeygii shanaada buugaan qoray marka lagu dhaw. That is beautiful, man. Come on. Wallahi, I think that's what we need more of, is right? Instead of saying awowgeygii shanaad dagaalka hebel halkan baa lagu dilay, halkan wax ku leeyahay la leeyahay. I hope we can say, like, our futures down the road, inshallah, carruurta inaga faraxmaysa, that they could look back and say, awowgeygii afraad wuxuu la shaqeeyay dawladda, halkaan u dhisay, buugaan uu ka qoray, wax kaana, it looks like this is beautiful.
Yeah, maybe we can call it the hal, like, for the next generation.
dhaxalka qoraalka waa magac fiican baan la iman aad fiiri, creativity waa lagu yaqaanaa. Shaah of the day soo lama bixin. I made it. Shaah of the day baan ku iri. Weli waan wadaaye, iska raali noqda, dhah raali geli dadka cadaanka. Aduu ii raali geli, adaa ku dhashay Maraykan. Ii raali geli.
No, we're going to accept your English. Your English is understandable. You've gotten 2 degrees in your English. It's fine. They can just adjust their ears a little bit, get used to the accent. I think that in the Adeg is kind of how I gotten used to Somali too. So I definitely bastardized the shit out of Somali.
I'm very proud. I want to give you a shout out, actually. This is your own podcast. Amina has been in my class, and I would say probably the best student I've ever worked with in terms of just being very consistent, communicative. That's Somalians, they lack that, but like you've been very consistent, and you are very driven in terms of the way you seek knowledge, and I think that's going to get you very far in life. Your Somali was already good, so I was already like, in the beginning of the class, I'm like, what handsome, yeah, but all you needed was like inching came like and we just had to ignite it a little bit. But wallahi, mashallah, your Somali is very good, and you've been very consistent. So give a lot of shout out to yourself. I'm going to you a shahadu, you know.
Yeah, I needed one. I was telling my uncle earlier too that I was like, oh, I have Somali lessons, and he's like, what? You speak Somali? And I was like, but it was nice to have you on ISIRKA.
If y'all need more, I'm gonna give myself a shout out. Shaah of the day, you know. Shaah of the day, SHAAH off, so OF the day, THEDAY Think one.
Why did you have to think so hard about how to spell of the day?
I never had to like think about spelling it. Like once
Yeah.
ku kala naqroono meel wana